population ever, please understand, never ever world faced this conscious pandemic. Percent of the human population, they have constantly feel their life has no purpose. I tell you, the greatest problem humanity is facing now is not just corona or global warming. All this we can handle easily if we are consciously strong. If human beings are consciously strong, handling corona, global warming, other problems are too easy. But unfortunately, more than 70%, when I am saying 70%, after thorough research, studying the scientific researches, analysis done by multiple universities which are working on various human societies, ethnic cultures. Of that, I am making this statement. More than 70% of the humanity feels consciously uprooted. The feeling of belongingness is stolen away. That's one of the fundamental flaw, I should say. The fundamental right to all human beings is feeling conscious belongingness. Feeling fulfilled with their life. Unfortunately, exploitative religious ideologies which are extremist, the militant missionaries and missionary militants, crony capitalism, deadly combination of all these three: crony capitalism, extremist religious ideologies, and extremely exploitative, oppressive political ideologies and decision makers. The deadly combination of these three has made more than 70% of the human beings consciously uprooted. The biggest problem humanity is facing now is conscious pandemic. Feeling purposeless. The definition of life is not convincing, satisfying. Please understand, 50% of the middle class people are dropping from regular jobs, regular jobs are not going to be any more normal lifestyle. The new normal is not going to have a regular clerical, industrial, working population. This is one of the major revolution happening all over the world. Nobody is waking up to it. And 20% of the population just want to move away from the grid. Not just from job. They just don't want the human civilization. They are moving into the forest. They don't want all the comforts, luxuries, the modern day civilization is providing, because the 20% against any of it. But the crony capitalists, extremist religious ideologies like militant missionaries and missionary militants and absolute oppressive, sadist, autocratic, power-hungry political decision makers, deadly combination of these three is making people lose their roots. I call this as a conscious pandemic, which is more serious problem than global warming or corona, the global pandemic which we are going through. Please understand, this conscious pandemic of feeling uprooted, feeling displaced, is imploding human society from inside. No amount of painkillers, depression medications, psychiatric drugs is going to help these root problems of humanity. No amount of addiction, illegal drugs is going to help the humanity to find solution. All the decision makers all over the world, if you are a decision maker in the political field, religious field, media, or entertainment field, Hollywood, Bollywood, Gollywood, Sandalwood, or social media influencer, if you are influencing the society in any form, I request all of you sincerely, please wake up to this truth. We are having conscious pandemic all over the world. The only solution is strengthening our indigenous lifestyle consciously. Let's go back to our way of eating, each part of the world, country, had their way of diet before this multinational companies started dumping food-like products in the name of food into our stomach and make our body as their source cured. Is a client lost for big pharmas. They are not going to think for your health. It is very open. It's a business for them. Why will they think they are not a charitable organization? They are not compassion-centric ideology organization. For-profit companies. Why don't we wake up? The big pharmas are going to only work for their profit. For them, your body is an income source. Why don't we wake up to the simple truth and drop the blind spot with which we are pushing our life and masses, billions of human beings into irreversible physical, mental, psychological, emotional damages we are collectively causing. Please understand. Crony capitalism in the field of pharma, in the field of food, is not only extremely dangerous, it is causing irreversible damage to the human bodies, minds, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. We are living the worst kind of body-mind structure for our next generation. Please understand. In multi-level stealing the conscious indigenous life from the people, whether the indigenous Hindu traditions are stolen away, destroyed from the Hindus living in remote villages of Nepal, India, Malaysia, or the indigenous homegrown family lifestyle of worshipping Voodoos, the Voodoo traditions being stolen away, robbed, forcibly taken away from the African indigenous tribes. All these are the crimes against humanity. Please understand. Whether a Munishwaran temple is getting demolished in a remote village in Tamil Nadu, or Mariamman temple is getting demolished in a remote village in Malaysia, or the village Hindu tribes getting brainwashed and forcibly getting converted in Nepal, or
நித்தியன் வாழும் நித்தியபுரி மலையே ஆறு படைத்தப்பா ஆறு படைத்தப்பா ஓம் ஆறு படைத்தப்பா நித்தியன் வாழும் நித்தியபுரி மலையே ஆறு படைத்தப்பா அறுபடை சக்தி ஒரு முக நித்தியனின் திருவடியை நாம் காண்போம் நித்யா திருவடியை நாம் காண்போம் நித்தியன் திருவடி கண்டு நோயற்ற வாழ்வினை பெறுவோம் நித்தியன் திருவடி கண்டு நோயற்ற வாழ்வினை பெறுவோம் ஆறு படைத்தப்பா ஓம் ஆறு.
We human beings need to reclaim our conscious centric indigenous lifestyles. We should free ourselves from currency centric, profit motivated, profit centric, food drink, food medicine life in the name of psychology, psychiatry, and in the name of mental health, and the false ideas about the currency being taught to us, false ideas about wealth being taught to us, the false ideas about religion, life being taught to us. Let's free ourselves from all this and consciously get back to our indigenous traditions, our
மலையே ஆறு படைத்தப்பா கேட்டால் தருவாய் வந்தால் நித்யையா நித்யா நித்யபுரி நித்யையா நித்யன் பாதம் கண்டு சகல செல்வமும் பெறுவோம் நித்யன் பாதம் கண்டு சகல செல்வமும் பெறுவோம் ஆறு படைக்கப்பா ஓம் ஆறு படைக்கப்பா நித்யன் வாழும் நித்யபுரி மலையே ஆறு படைக்கப்பா ஆறு படைக்கப்பா ஓம் ஆறு படைக்கப்பா நித்யன் வாழும் நித்யபுரி மலையே ஆறு படைக்கப்பா
My sincere request to all the decision makers, social influencers who are here. Let's wake up to this conscious pandemic humanity is going through. Let's start now. Let's do something now. Let's get back to food style, lifestyle, medicines, everything our ancestors gave us consciously. Understand? In that conscious lifestyle, if we need to do some evolution, let us evolve consciously in that very lifestyle and stop discarding that whole conscious lifestyle of our indigenous traditions. Conscious indigenous traditions and the conscious lifestyle is the solution for all the conscious pandemic human beings are going through all over the world. Thank you for being here. Maybe in further satsangs, I'll reveal more and more the solution from conscious enlightened civilization, ancient civilization of the humanity, Hindu tradition. Kailasa is all about reviving the ancient, enlightened, conscious-centric, indigenous traditions. Hinduism is just nothing but the collection of around 10,000 indigenous traditions, indigenous lifestyles. We are not like modern-day organized religions. We are not enforced cookie cutter solutions. We see human beings as conscious beings, not as source for money, not as source for power, not as source for anything. We see human beings as conscious living beings. Non-violence is the foundation of Hinduism and the foundation of Kailasa'S constitution. Let's get back to our conscious indigenous traditions, liberate ourselves from this huge conscious pandemic and help the humanity to free themselves from this conscious pandemic. That's all is my request to all the decision makers who are here from various walks of life. Thank you all. With this, I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhatvaita Saivam Paramadvaitam. The state, space, powers, being, superconsciousness, and Kailasa, Maha Kailasa of Paramashiva, Paramashivoham, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, the eternal bliss Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
ஆறுபடை அப்பா ஓம் ஆறுபடை அப்பா நித்யனே ஆறுபடை அப்பா ஆறுபடை அப்பா ஓம் ஆறுபடை அப்பா நித்யன் வாழும் நித்யபுரி மலையே ஆறுபடை அப்பா அறுபடை சக்தியின் ஒருமுக நித்யனின் திருவடியை நாம் காண்போம் நித்யா திருவடியை நாம் காண்போம் நித்யன் திருவடி கண்டு நோயற்ற வாழ்வினை பெறுவோம் நித்யன் திருவடி கண்டு நோயற்ற வாழ்வினை பெறுவோம் ஆறுபடை அப்பா ஓம் ஆறுபடை அப்பா நித்யன் வாழும் நித்யபுரி மலையே ஆறுபடை அப்பா ஆறுபடை அப்பா ஓம் ஆறுபடை அப்பா நித்யன் வாழும் நித்யபுரி மலையே ஆறுபடை அப்பா
Stand. Be a conscious woman or man. Be conscious being. Shrink the time through conscious will persistence. Make the future into present by being ferocious with yourself. The moment you decide, your
Dear esteemed guests and viewers worldwide, on behalf of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa, we thank each and every one of you for taking your valuable time in joining the global conclave of an ancient traditional celebration of unity, peace, courage, Thaipusam, with Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Indigenous Traditions and Tribes. We are pleased and honored to invite you next to Kailasa'S webinar on the groundbreaking revelation on the mysteries of the universe on January 22nd at 7:30 a.m. IST or 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kailasa'S Kalpataru, the Manifest Your Reality program on January 22nd is also happening at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The program is being hosted by the Kailasa, Los Angeles. Our next event is being organized and hosted by Kailasa, Canada on the occasion of Tamil Heritage Month on January 29 from 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or that is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On March 1st, Kailasa and Hindus worldwide will be celebrating Mahaparamashivratri. On this occasion, Kailasa Uniting Nations for Global Peace and Conflict Resolution is inviting you all to the grand auspicious Mahaparamashivratri celebrations. On this auspicious night of Mahaparamashivratri, an explosion of superconsciousness energy happens on planet Earth to remove the darkness of ignorance and give enlightenment to the whole cosmos, to the humanity, creating a more peaceful, blissful, and united world. We cordially invite you to join us on March 1st from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And finally, we have, after 3 years, the most awaited program, Paramashivoham Level 3, to manifest the deeper experience of the 25 states of consciousness, the vertical time zones, and power manifestation. The 21-day intense program will start on February 19 and continue till March 11. Please visit the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's official Facebook page to register for the upcoming programs. Once again, thank you all for joining us. We extend our heartfelt gratitude and our best wishes to all of you for a peaceful and prosperous year. Thank you, Nithyananda.
Time itself is nothing but your decision to struggle with the same rut. Your decision to struggle with the same rut is time, Kala. Your decision to swallow time is Kala.
Nithyanandam, Jnanapatati Manual, under the guidance of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadushnam Tattvamasyaadilakshmyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. What is power manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagavan himself explaining what is power manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you, due to your chemicals and hormones, ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you, out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turiyatita, in your whole being and doing, manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift. Playing with life. Playing with being alive. Static matter, dynamic activity, strategic existence, all these three has no boundary. You are one with it. You are alive in everything. Everything listens to you. Everything decides as you want.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained what is power manifestation. Everything deciding what you want, becoming the kalpatru of your life, becoming the new species, and manifesting all your desires into reality. It's a science because millions have experienced that, and each one of us can experience right now. Science of power manifestation is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. All the pramanas, the evidences, give us the cognitive shift from what we understand as mind, the self-doubt, self-denial, self-hatred. Beyond that, there exists a space. Paramashiva is real. Consciousness is real. And we can experience that as our own reality in the physical reality. The Shastra Pramana, the eternal, unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures as Vedas and Agamas. Apta Pramana, the experience and the results of Aptas. Aptas are rishis, munis, ganas, Jnanamars, alvars, siddhas, yoginis, bhairavas, even emperors, grahasthas. All of them manifested all the powers of Paramashiva. Millions of them were authority of Hinduism who manifested all the powers of Paramashiva, which is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation, Bhagavan's very own Leela to showcase to the world how the cognitive shift can raise you to the vertical time zone, manifesting the different possibilities of human experiencing in this physical body in the Bhuloka as the ultimate space and ultimate possibilities. Sakshi Pramana, the experience of millions of disciple, devotees, followers all around the world, initiated by Bhagavan into the science of power manifestation. Bhagavan beautifully says how we can experience the oneness when we are in Kailash courtyard. It's like a Garbha Mandir. And simply Bhagavan is more real than all of us waiting to manifest in each one of us all the abundance, auspiciousness, bliss, and every one of us experiencing the ultimate space of Paramashiva when we are in oneness with Paramashiva. Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific study measuring the effect of being in an enlightened state. What happens to our brain when we do these power manifestation? It is clearly documented in Avatar Shastra how our brain goes into the thoughtless space, and not just that, the prefrontal cortex, which is the command center, conscious center, which becomes very, very highlighted and which starts functioning at its peak possibility, manifesting all the discoveries, inventions, attracting abundance, auspiciousness, bliss, and healing. Life might look very simple, but
Shastra Pramana. Shastra are eternal, unchangeable truth revealed in the source.
परहितस्य सर्वज्ञत्वं प्रवर्तेत विकल्परहितस्य
Bhagavan Paramashiva beautifully translates with key establish himself in absolute non-dual oneness with Lord Shiva and keeps himself free from all sorts of differentiating notions. The exalted supreme power of all gets unfolded in all its fullness. Bhagavan Paramashiva has given in this sutra how we can manifest the power of all knowingness. Bhagavan beautifully describes how when he was a child, that very point, giving us the visualization of different possibilities and beyond, and what is abstract to us right now can be really seen in the third eye. Now clearly documented, science is catching up with all these great science. And Bhagavan so beautifully answered that Ardhanarishwarar is the deity, main moolavar of the temple, and that boy was shocked and literally startled. How did Bhagavan know this? And he said, simply I asked, and humbly surrendering that to the space, it revealed itself. We did not have telescope or microscope to study things. Rather, rishis and munis just humbly surrender, and just the whatever the astronomical details or something under the ocean or something that they have to build a technology in stone, anything was just a possibility of humbly surrendering and asking how it should be done. And the whole thing is revealed to them, available in the space, and we can simply is yet to catch up with all these details, but in practical detail, now Bhagavan is initiating us into this greater possibility that we can three chakras, where we are in the fear, greed, incompletion, pain, and all kinds of suffering, where we feel completely stuck. And more we move to the higher chakras, gratitude, oneness, contributing to others' life, and collective integrity. More and more seeing the higher frequency, experiencing the higher reality. How the science is also telling us very clear thing that everything that exists in the molecular structure, the atom is 99.9% more you are able to connect to the higher frequency. How you have the television connecting to the different frequency, you can also connect to the higher and start living the higher reality, which is consciousness, which takes you to the other dimensions, other lokas, where you experience the higher thinking and higher mature. Beautifully says sorts of notions, questions from the mind, and which is created from the self-doubt, self-hatred, and self-denial, all the depression, doubts, and boredom and tiredness that we have. When we are ready to let go that, which is just a screen, and if you let go that, we can experience the ultimate oneness, the ultimate reality. Paramashiva is real. Beautifully in the Apta Pramana of how in Ramayana itself was a great epic which was downloaded by Valmiki. Valmiki was a criminal, and he was initiated by the greatest Narada Muni into Mara Mara, and he chanted and chanted, and simply a ant hill grew on him. And from the ant hill he came out. That is why he was reborn as Valmiki. Valmiki means ant hill. And he was reborn, and he narrated the whole Ramayana. And Rama comes down as an avatar. Vishnu comes down as Rama. And such a most beautiful avatar of deep compassion and love was narrated by beautifully. He says, Sejra, satisfied with the behavior, and he teaches him the Ashtra and Shastra. Even as the avatar, they went to the Gurukulam. Bhagavan beautifully says an example of how a gold cannot be directly, a pure gold cannot be made as an ornament. It has to be added with the copper. But after it comes, lands on planet Earth, they come with the, and the Gurukulam removes that by giving them the real who they are. Bhagavan says his gurus were nothing but the alarm clock to remind him who he came here, who is him. And Shastra from sage Vishwamitra and downloading everything at an instant and experiencing the greater reality. Any of the avatar, Ramakrishna Paramahamsar, Mahaperiva, Sai Baba, all have demonstrated clearly just Ega Sandagragi, that is learning just in one listening, repeating verbatim Ega Sandagragi. They were able to just know everything. Mahaperiva is said to talk in 40 languages. Just by one listening, they just can grasp any language. This is a possibility of a human aligning to the higher consciousness. Says, if we
the sandal and fall. At least 2 hours for me to complete the puja. As a tradition, there are many methods and techniques. I cannot do. That is humble. Whether I am not talking about the humble submission, the attitude of you need to have in. Look at a building. That attitude of start imbibing. Whatever is your essence, let it be imbibed in me. Let it become part of me. I am not. I can imbibe because I know how to imbibe. Attitude of humble submission with anything. If you are going to a new culture, if you are going to a new place, if you are going to a new person, if you are going to a new book, if you are going to a new field, with anything, do not have prejudice. Some fellows are wrong, these fellows are right. This book is not right. This thought is not right. This philosophy. I tell you, if you have this attitude of imbibing, even the terrorist philosophy, you will learn something right and good. Philosophy of enlightenment, you will make it. George Gurdjieff is a flower out of the communist thorns.
Of listening in life, when you are constantly in always with a narrative of the mind, You are not going to get even the highest Vedanta philosophy, even delivered by Avatar himself, right at you, right in you. The whole space that we need to hold. Paramashiva is real. Bhagavan beautifully explains by giving an example of how his people who have taken poison, stung by a stick, small stick, and touch on the ground and touch the part where the poison has gone in, whether it is your foot or your mouth or ear. He would do that 3 times. And simply the person will get up after that immediately and just walk away out of poison. He never used to question his guru, just watch in times. And one he is to get into the level and get into the deep samadhi space. And he was in Padmasana and he was in Samana Mudra. In experiencing the deep samadhi when an old lady met Bhagavan and said, "Oh, you did," and she was in such a joy and she left. And Bhagavan says, "This was my first healing as a child. I understood that all you need is the signal to you. When the guru is in samadhi, whatever he says is the truth, nothing but the truth. And if you just take this as your cognition, you will simply manifest any powers. My guru is great, so he is my guru. But Bhagavan says, I feel such a deep connection with my guru. I know I have authority over my guru. So, and he is great. So I manifested the power. So that is the whole click that happened in Bali to crack Mensa questions, not just the answers, but they would tell the questions if you tell the page numbers, and demonstrated to all the researchers who came to Kailash Courtyard, and they were odd answers which top point Mensa questions. And these kids, just like that, playfully answering all that, and they are children of 8 years. Parameshwara is real. He is sitting in front of me and reality, because Bhagavan says, when you feel I am your very own, that is the super click of they downloaded the words for meaning. Scaping. It's something to do with and land and landscaping, and they got it exactly. Those words got downloaded when she wrote the whole thing. Etiology, and she got the branch of having the trust that Paramashiva is there. Space of the Balasans. Today we'll all experience that one. The beautiful space that Bhagavan is giving us to make us understand, not just downloading some information, but clearly he is giving us how to manifest the greater science, consciousness as our very reality. And these are workshop might be simple, but profound things happen, shifts in our life as our outer world desires getting fulfilled and our inner space raising to consciousness. again and again, each one of us have to raise ourselves. It's like each one of us have to sleep and eat. We have to raise by ourselves and by ourselves to the space of oneness with Paramashiva. Through these power manifestation, Bhagavan says, every day, that is why it is part of the Charya Pada, doing power manifestation is a tapas. When you understand more and more all these powerful cognition, your body and the mind become so pure to reflect the consciousness, Paramashiva, as your inner space, as subtle grooves get triggered and you manifest huge powers, and also fulfill your inner space as Paramashiva, and your outer space, simply you know Paramashiva is manifesting everything for you, and life starts becoming beautiful, blissful, that everything responds to you as you want. So the simple guidance for this powerful cognition and power manifestation is, if you have a partner, ask them to give an unknown something that is verifiable and that is tangible, that you can go back to Google or your partner and get it verified. You can write to a phone clearly saying how the atoms and the molecules and the photons are constantly receiving information, like how the signals that you get for your television. Same way, your brain is capable than these just equipments. It can just tap the higher intelligence, and which is in the space. How one cell becomes a human being. Each cell is designed and you simply download all the information today and experience the oneness with serving self. Beautifully, Muruga's blessing today, Muruga's darshan today of Bhagavan himself coming as Muruga and blessing all of us, Subramanya, the most sweetest space, who is beautiful, manifesting all the greatest signs, all the siddhas, and all power manifestation. The ultimate God is Muruga, Subramanya. And just by Subramanya is so easy, Bhagavan says, just by one thought, and he will be here manifesting every dimension in you. He's so powerful and so beautiful that simply it happens. All you need to do is bring him to your third eye and go into the deep listening and that word Muruga means itself is melting in your throat. The nectar melting in your throat is Muruga. So just by bringing his presence in your third eye, you start with Paramashiva, and simply you're taken into the vertical time zone and the parallel universe where you're already manifesting all the powers. All you need to sign and just download all the information. Now, absolute unclutching from this world, whatever you know, how you go into the deep sleep, you don't bother about your thoughts, your pain, your response. Unclutch from everything. You're sitting with Paramashiva, Muruga, Subramanya in front of you, and he is you. What would space be? Hold that powerful space. You sit with 25 heads and 75 eyes and 50 hands of Muruga, Subramanya, and just download that whole science into you as serving chant the raises your frequency to the phenomenal space. Powers. Let's start chanting, getting disappeared in Paramashiva.
आनंद परम नित्यानंद परम शिवोऽहम् Let Paramashiva Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Nithyananda Paramashivam.
Please open your eyes. Whatever Paramashiva has given as prasada, please go ahead and verify in the Google. Authentically verify if the words are matching the description that you have written for the question is matching the details. And if your partner is giving, please call the partner and give them the detail what has been downloaded in you as a prasada. By doing all these powers, what is that we are gaining in the outer world? Again and again, when you are going to the superconscious space, your prefrontal cortex is becoming so vibrant, it attracts all the auspiciousness and abundance. How does it work? The more you are in the lower three chakras, you are put in delusion more and more, which is continuously beaten to the real very bad extents. But the more and more you are raised to the higher conscious, your third eye, your heart chakra, you can start seeing the higher realities, like how you would be searching a car in a parking lot. And if you can't find it, if you look at it from the top floor, 10th floor, you can just spot it. A professor but a child of 5th grade, it would be very difficult. All the perception is only the difference. If you understand you are consciousness, you are infinite energy, you are sarvanyatva, self-effulgent, omniscience, omnipresent. Now science is catching up with all these words and making it reality. Even in science, we are understanding that even as science, what we believe in also is giving any intelligence just by connecting. The only thing they don't have is a missing link, the signal. And Paramashiva is the ultimate initiation, is our signal. And the minute he says we can manifest all these powers and simply it downloads in us. How Bhagwan healed the lady, old lady, just because he had a simple integrity with his guru, it has to become real. When Arjuna was crow, simply he looked at the crow and it was blue. If you say the same thing to a small child of 2 years, even you can try. Look at the blue crow and clap. The kid will clap because it will see it as a blue crow, because it is ready to absorb anything from the outer world as information. Being in that space with your guru is the ultimate gift for you. Surrendering to that space that Paramashiva is real. If that becomes your very signal, that is consciousness, Paramashiva, the ultimate, he can download any information into you. You become the receiver for all the information in the world. You become Sarvanyatva. This is the science Bhagavan has given to the Balasans in Gurukul. Same thing. And that is how they've demonstrated even on the stage of just coming with unknown question, unknown subject, 40 to 60% they were able to crack it. It is not a joke when you don't know a subject and you are answering 40 to 60%, and not just one kid, 10 kids on the stage. So this great science is real, and it is quite possible for each one of us when we stop asking the questions and drop all our identities and surrender to see what happens, what is the other side of the whole equation. When we experience, then we can go back to the questions, and because we know the answer now, because experientially I have experienced that greater science. Each time you experience, Bhagavan says, a powerful cognition, when you experience, your molecular structure in the brain changes, shifts, and each word you are listening to all these higher truth. And if you're here, be very clear, you did not come by accident. It was a blessing for 8.4 million species and 8 billion people. Why are you chosen to be here? That is the grace that you have been given for being here to manifest the greatest reality. And Bhagavan says, do Anga Pratikshna to yourself. That means you go around yourself and thank yourself for being here at this moment and receiving all this greater science into you. And few minutes, we'll have one more cycle. Be blessed, be powerful, be Paramashiva, and simply download whatever Paramashiva shows into your physical reality. Hold that space, my Paramashiva, my Guru. He is all-knowing and he is downloading in me, as whenever I ask, he would just support me and give it. All the kids write exams like that only. And they get phenomenal marks. Sometimes they don't even write exam, they get the certificate. All this happens because the feeling of oneness and connection the Balasans have. All you need to get is that space of Paramashiva is real. Consciousness is real. I will stand by that and I can manifest anything in my life. Hold that very strongly. The persistence becomes power, Bhagavan says. Let's have one more cycle of manifesting the power of Sarvagnyatva. Put away your gadgets for a few minutes if you've written the questions. And let's start the cycle 2 with deeply getting connected to Paramashiva in the oneness space. Let's go into the Nirvikalpa Samadhi by chanting the Mahavakya intensely. The Ajapa Japa has the power of sound is phenomenal. So when you raise your frequency by chanting, Ajapa Japa means you don't use your tongue to chant, but you chant without the tongue, the moving of the tongue through your inner voice, and you have a deep listening to the chanting without getting distracted by your narration of your thoughts. Thoughts itself is not thinking, Bhagavan says. Only the narration of the whole thought, that is the emotional attachment, the cognitions which keep on coming up. Drop everything, unclutch from everything, hold only Paramashiva Mahavakya and deep listening to Paramashiva, surrendering your space, disappearing into Paramashiva's, the whole nectar that you can experience as oneness. Let's start chanting to manifest the power of Sarvagnyatva.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.